Hi VC, Dale Gatefield 33 here again. So this is a thread response that I'm a little bit late on, which is around favourite guitarists. There have been quite a few of these going round, so I'll try not to repeat, not repeat showing albums, but I might repeat certainly some artists. As I've said in a previous video, I've got no musical ability, so I don't know what's good or bad guitar. I only know what sounds good to my ears, and some of this is trying to showcase that some of the sounds that the guitars or the artists generate from their guitars, which kind of fits well with the overall music that's generated. It may or may not be, as I say, bad guitarmanship, but I thought I'd show it all the same. And I'll start with the elephant in the room. No one seems to have shown David Gilmour. Certainly, I think, again, I've said in a previous video, Pink Floyd is where it started for me as a 13-year-old when The Wall came out, getting into proper music. And I think, the sound that David Gilmour generates, particularly on, say, this album or Medal, where it's very much guitar tracks, to me, it's a beautiful thing. And whilst I don't play Pink Floyd very often anymore because I'm trying to get into different music, it's always going to be there, and it's always going to evoke something within me. So David Gilmour to start with. Keep continuing the kind of like something, they generate a tone or a sound. Wilco Johnson in Dr. Feelgood, that jabbing guitar, and particularly if you see him in like the old Grey Whistle Test strutting around the stage, that certainly generates a particular sound that fits with the music that Dr. Feelgood did. So this is Down by the Jetty. This is an original UK of that, and this is one of my treasured top 100 albums. This and Malpractice are both equally great. Continuing that kind of theme, Tom Verlaine in Television, and certainly Marky Moon and the actual title track Marky Moon is just a fantastic sequence of that guitar tone that dominates the long song, and similarly on other tracks on here, his jabbing guitar kind of really suits the music and sets the tone of the music. So Tom Verlaine from Television, getting a bit excuse me, bluesy now, and Peter Green in Fleetwood Mac, certainly in the early years Fleetwood Mac, and obviously the obvious track like Albatross. He had a tone to his guitar and a way of playing that you could instantly tell that it was Peter Green. He's on there. This is a reissue of the Fleetwood Mac album, often called Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. Now getting on to a rock guitarist, prog guitarist, who for me, if I had to evoke smooth rock guitar, something that really kind of and smooth prog guitar, I'd go with Steve Rothery from Marillion. I think he really does just have that lush, smooth rock guitar that suits some of the long kind of building prog tracks, particularly in the early Marillion years. So Steve Rothery is in there. So this artist has already been shown, but I thought this album hasn't. This is one of my favourites, and this is original UK Bert Jansch LA Turnaround. So this is 74, I think. Might be wrong. So this is a bit later, and it's a bit more electric as well as acoustic. But this is a great album, and I've got most of Bert Jansch's releases through from his first album. But thought I'd show this one. I've already mentioned this guy, so we're on to jazz now, jazz guitarists. I've got a couple of jazz guitarists here that stick out for me. In previous finds really, I've already talked about Grant Green. This is Green Street, which is quite a funky jazz album, and yeah, Grant Green's got fantastic guitar tone for me, and beautiful jazz guitarist, as is the next artist, Kenny Burrell. This is one of the Music Matters, one of the 3 that I've got, but I'm glad I got this one, Midnight Blue. This is a fantastic late night jazz album with Kenny Burrell just fantastically kind of, if you like, inserting his guitar where it's needed, and only when it's needed, to create a fantastic mood. So Kenny Burrell, Midnight Blue. This artist I don't think has been shown, and this, for me, I don't know if it's the first instance, I know Thin Lizzy may well have been as well, but instance of the twin guitar really taking effect in rock, and creating a kind of even thicker, lusher sound. And so Wishbone Ash, I think, were kind of pioneers of the twin guitar sound. So I forget the notes. So we've got Andy Powell and Martin Turner were the guitarists in early Wishbone Ash, and I've got their early stuff, and yeah, they create a fantastic sound. And then I thought I'd finish with my favourite guitarist. I think I've mentioned it maybe in a previous video, but my favourite guitarist, just for his variety of acoustic and electric, is Richard Thompson. And this I got a couple of years ago. This is probably my favourite Richard Thompson album, Mott Tudor, and this was a kind of lavish reissue box of that was brought out. I probably won't be able to show this. It's a book, and the albums are in a book type, and they're on. Should you care? They're on they're on clear vinyl, and actually does sound well, good, and it's really crankable, and it's got a certificate and all stuff like that. It was a US reissue. I got a few years ago, but yeah, Richard Thompson for me is my favourite guitarist, and I saw him a couple of years ago. He did a tour. I saw him in London. He's doing an acoustic tour, and so he did an acoustics concert in London that I went to with my wife, and yeah, that was fantastic to see him. Would have liked to see in the mix of acoustic and electric, but yeah, he's a great guitarist in my view. So I'll stop rambling there. So cheers, thanks, bye.